afternoon. First of all, before we talk about Denmark, how many positives did you take out of Thursday's win over the Czech Republic?
What positives? We won. Play the competitive people. We want to try and do that. Well, one or two things as well. So we learnt one or two things on shape and things like that, which was great. All the players, there's positives everywhere. So that was good. So it was a bonus. As I say, the second half was a lot better, but it was a good trip. There was a lot of positives come from it.
It's largely a completely different squad for the game tomorrow. Is the message though more or less same again for this group of players?
Different group of players. They have different. Some have different assets for the group we've had before, so we'll use that and see how that works. So it's been great. It's been refreshing. That the fact is, every day has been worthwhile. Normally, when you're playing international, maybe especially away from home, it takes a couple of days. We were training at 3:30 with this new group the day after we played. So it's been great. There's not been a minute wasted. It's been good for the players because they've only had to be with us 4 nights really, so we can send them. They come to us refreshed, or we send them back, and they've got a long time to recover for next game. So that's been good. But the bonus has been the attitude of the players and the guys that have come in we've not seen for a while. The guys who we've not seen at all. They've re-energised the coaching staff, which was great, because it's not been easy for our coaching staff because we're working every day, but especially the backroom staff. They're the ones that have had to do a lot. The ones on the training field, we are not too bad, but the backroom staff, the medics, the nutritionists, the kit, they've had to work extremely hard. But because of the attitude of the players that were brought in, it's been great for them. The players have kept us going.
There were a couple of debuts in Prague. Would you like to see a few more international first caps tomorrow night with the guys maybe you haven't seen?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And training this week is, as I said, we pick the squad, and then we look at the players and see if they're ready, who's ready. It's got to be hard because the intensity they've worked at has been quite phenomenal. Matter of fact, I offered them a day off and to rest, and spoke to the senior players. They went, no, we go again. So it's fantastic.
Scott Brown will probably win his 50th cap tomorrow. How integral has he been to what you have had to go through over the last 3 years, and how good is it?
Well, he's been a big part of my career over the last 10 years, and he's made my life more enjoyable, that's for sure, more interesting on many occasions. And Scottish football would be a duller place without Scott Brown. And I can see his influence on younger players now, which is terrific. And so he's not only being a good footballer, but he's been a good help to young players now.
Just going back to the guys who might make their debuts tomorrow night, a couple in particular are teenagers as well. Are you of the opinion with Oliver and Kieran Tierney that they are at that level now, that international level, even though they're so young? And
we don't know how many we've got at international level. You can only be successful at the national level. If you're playing a successful team, then you are ready for international level, that's for sure.
You've been very loyal to a lot of players since you became Scotland manager, Gordon, but there's a lot of new faces in the squad, both in Prague last week and for this squad for the game tomorrow night. Is that a sign that you're perhaps trying to take this team in a slightly different direction now? Well,
first of all, I've been loyal to the players who deserve to be loyal to. I just don't pick them because I like them. There's a lot of boys out there who are known here have had great times with. But the squad's evolved that I'll keep players who are still useful, so beneficial, and can help this squad. It doesn't matter whether you're Gordon Greer at 34, 35 or Oliver Burke at 18. It doesn't matter to me what age you are, as long as you're fit and your thought is how to make Scotland better. So it doesn't matter what age you are.
Are you tempted to give a lot of debuts from the start tomorrow, or do you feel it's important that you phase players?
I think when you're making your debut, it's whatever level it is when you make your first team. It's good to have experienced players around you. I don't think it's that great to have a lot of inexperience around you when you're making your debut. and so there'll be a lot of experience with him. Or whoever's come back for the cold. Liam Bridcott has been fantastic. He's looked an even better player than he was a couple of years ago. So all these guys are back in. So it's nice to have that experience around you when you make your debut.
The likes of Kieran Tierney, Gordon, it's been such a quick rise for him. How's he, settled into being around international footballers this week?
Well, he's played European football against top sides, so that's been a benefit to him and to Celtic and to us. So he didn't look out of place with the games I've seen him, and got a good way about him, determined, got a bit of humility about him as well. That's great. He's been, as I said to you, I think it's helped that Scott Brown's been around him, people like that, and he'll come here and there'll be people like Sean Maloney, he'll be there to help him as well. So these guys are great role models. When you're coaching, it's great to have role models that you can say, that's what I want to do as a footballer, that's the way I want to train. And you might think there'll be enthusiasm for the young ones, they've been fantastic, but I've had as much enthusiasm from Sean Maloney and Greer than anybody.
Gordon, are you 100% satisfied that Kieran Tierney is fit and ready to go despite that ankle knock a couple of weeks ago?
Well, I've not got his ankle. You need to ask him. I can't diagnose pain just now. He might have a sore head, but I don't know about it right now, so I don't know how he's feeling. He just tells us he can train or he can't train. But when they come here, we leave it up to the players. They tell us we don't. We only get a loan of them. They come here and train and play for nothing, so it's up to them. They tell us, and we trust them.
So what has Kieran Tierney been saying to you then? Has he been saying, yeah boss, I'm good to go?
Doesn't he say much, the kid, to be honest with you? He just smiles and gets on with it. I like that.
You mentioned a couple of things about Scott Brown's influence. Can you explain a bit of what that looks like? I know there's the term role model, but is it words that he says? Is it examples that he gives on the training pitch? Can you tell
I think it's. Well, I don't know what he says in private till I see him with people. He's good with people. He likes being with people. He makes everybody welcome in here. And then he trains to a maximum. Anything he does to the maximum. So there's no shortcuts. So as Howard Wilkinson used to say to me, the pace of the pack is determined by the leader. So he's a leader, and so is Dan Fletcher. So we're well led that way.
You mentioned after the Czech Republic game that you are almost amazed, that's maybe a bit of a strong word, at how many of the small details had made differences in the second half. How confident are you, given that it's going to be a very different squad against Denmark, that they can have those small details?
Well,
from the start?
what we do is when we get here, when we met up, we pulled out these small differences, let the boys see it. There's nothing better than actual video evidence of it. And then we put that into practice at the training. So we've done that. So you're coaching. I don't say I'm going to coach like this every day. I just when I see the game, okay, we need to work at this, and we put a few ideas together. But we've taken a lot of good stuff out, showing the lads from the previous campaign a lot of the good stuff we've done. So we'll continue with that and add one or two wee things, and we'll play to that same style. But if there's players appear in the next year that can change our style, or that good with changes, we might do that.
I remember just from a few days ago you were talking about Johan Cruyff, and one of the interesting things I felt you said was you addressed his quality of having that core strength, and you said in Scottish football that is something that we don't have so much anymore. And I remember Mikel Arteta was one player when he was in Scottish football, people said he's slight but he's got great core strength. Is that something that we can look to address in the short term, or is that a longer term?
Well, we can only advise people as the SFA. It's up to other clubs to get on with that.
What did you make of England's performance the other night, if you watched it, given that you're playing them quite soon?
Well, quite soon is about 8 months, I think.
Well, you've played them twice over the next qualifying champion. Are you impressed by the performance in Germany?
They're terrific, absolutely terrific. Next question.
Gordon, when Gianni came down onto the training pitch today, I thought it was quite funny because the sun had just come out when Gianni walked onto the training pitch. You said the sun's out because Gianni's out. We've known before how bubbly his
You must have been hiding in the marquee when that was going. Were you disguised as a bush or something like that? How did you get that close?
Newspaper with holes in it. But
please yourself.
we've said a lot of time how lovely his character is and how that's helped the squad. Do you feel that when
I'm going to look for you all the time now, you know that. I'll not take my eyes off you.
No, but do you feel that going into this new campaign, the presence of him and others like him are really important to generate that upbeat spirit again?
Did you hear me and my wife speaking about the electricity bill? It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it, really? The price of that bill.
Yes.
Wasn't it? It really was.
No, but seriously, in terms of...
No, I was being serious. It is. It was an expensive bill.
In terms of the opposition this week, Gordon, what type of challenge will that pose?
I've watched them, their videos recently, and they've got to count themselves very unlucky not to be in the European Championships. It's amazing that such a good team that they were beat with a team that I think, on the whole, are not as good as Denmark, but they had Ibrahimovic playing for them. And that's what can happen in this. If you look at Poland, Lewandowski, if you've got players like that, and Wales have Bale and Aaron Ramsey, if you've got a couple of players like that, then it can make a big, big difference. You know, a big, big difference.
Can I just ask you a final question about Scott Brown, go back to what we spoke about earlier? There's a player in your squad, there's been a lot of comparisons made with Scott Brown and someone at the start of their career, John McGinn. Do you see similarities between the two players?
No, I wouldn't. I hate doing that. I hate comparing somebody with anybody else. John's been fantastic in the couple of days he's been here. He's got his own style. But if everybody has the same attitude as these guys are talking about, Brown and McGinn, then football it's a lot easier for coaches. But I've got to say that I have got a lot here that similar vein. Sorry.
Sorry, no, but I spoke to Ollie Burke over the weekend. He's played 16 first team games, I think. He's obviously 18 years old. Comes across very self-assured, and he's built not like many 18-year-olds. Is that what do you maybe put his progression down to, and his rapid rate of progression this season? How much are you focusing into more?
There's a couple of things you put down to the player himself, how quickly they want to get on with the game, how quickly they want to improve as an individual. The clubs have been at, the games they play, the quality of the games they play, and so that's all there. But I've seen him a right few times now. I've seen his debut, and impressed, and I've got to say that he's impressed everybody here so far.
Does he give a different dimension to the attacking options? What is it that's different?
We've got plenty of attacking options here. We've got plenty of attacking options, and but they've all got different things, and we'll just wait and see how he comes along. But it's great to have him here. As I say, we've got nice freshness about the squad, but a determination as well.